who that is? That's Michael Burnham.
The mutineer.
In the flesh.
8,000 dead in the first 2 days of war.
8,186.
Welcome to Discovery. I'm Captain Gabriel Lorca.
Captain, what am I doing on this ship?
I have something on deck that requires every trained mind available.
What the hell is going on this ship?
Burnham is viewed by many as the cause of our conflict. This does nothing for morale.
My ship, my way.
You're a valuable asset, but you are dangerous.
Shields up!
Firing main phasers.
You seek to destroy the Klingon Empire.
But glory must be earned through sacrifice.
Have you ever bothered to look out of your spaceships at the little guys below?
Go!
There's a lot more of us down there than there are you up here. I'm sick and tired of getting caught in your crossfire.
I think about what happened all the time. And I'm hurt. But there's hope.
We must win the war. But that's just the beginning. Imagine the possibilities.
Hey everybody, so this is the trailer for the next episode, as well as a little bit from the rest of the season. So I'll address this footage after I do a couple of the Easter eggs from the first 2 episodes. So obviously spoilers for the first 2 episodes if you haven't seen them yet. But if you didn't notice, in the captain's office, there were a library of Easter eggs. Like literally all the books are episodes of Star Trek. There's The Trouble with Tribbles, The Way to Eden, Mirror Mirror. Remember, I mentioned they said they were doing Mirror Universe this season. They didn't say which episode they would start doing it. But there's Return to Tomorrow, Patterns of Force, All Our Yesterdays, Whom Gods Destroy, The Deadly Years, Plato's Stepchildren, Amok Time, Metamorphosis, City on the Edge of Forever, Mark of Gideon, The Cage, which is an even deeper Easter egg because it's the original pilot for the original series before they reshot it with William Shatner. So you have Jeffrey Hunter playing Captain Pike, you have Spock, who's his first officer, then they reshot the pilot and you got the first actual episode. But because Discovery is taking place 10 years before the original series, right now, Captain Pike is flying around in the Enterprise in a different part of the galaxy. With the way they're envisioning the series, we might run into them once or twice, but I'm not expecting them to be a big force on the TV show. I'd be very surprised if we ran into the Enterprise the first half of the season. But then there's Balance of Terror, By Any Other Name, the Omega Glory, the Empath, in That Which Survives. So there was a lot of original series Easter eggs in the episode, but a lot of you were wondering, just the look and feel of the ships, the uniforms. In the trailer, obviously, you see her wearing the classic Star Trek colors. So I think one of the biggest surprises from those first 2 episodes are the way they shoot it as sort of a prequel for the real series. Like episode 3, where we actually meet the Discovery and its captain and the rest of its crew, is where the series really begins. Like the TV show's called Star Trek Discovery, but the first 2 episodes just wound up being the setup for the series. Like, this is what's happening in the galaxy. This is how the Klingons feel about everyone else. There's this big war that started. So you have sort of the Deep Space Nine Dominion War in the background, set against the weekly adventures you'd see on Next Gen or Voyager or the ship-based shows. In the background, they snuck in a bottle of Chateau Picard. So just for reference, The Cage, like the original pilot for Star Trek with Captain Pike, that was 2254, 2 years before this is happening here. There were a number of things that they borrowed from previous Trek that I didn't quite consider Easter eggs, like the Vulcan nerve pinch isn't an Easter egg, but the Vulcan Learning Center is designed based on the Abrams movies. So even though they're saying this is prime timeline, they're still borrowing visually from some of the Abrams movies. There are a couple of Easter eggs in the names of all the Federation ships as they punch in as they're all going at each other. There's the Edison, which was featured in one of the video games and one of the ebooks. There's the Jaeger, which was featured on Deep Space Nine. It looks like an altered version of Voyager, but obviously Voyager's happening way further in the future, so it's much more highly advanced. there were a couple of Klingon Easter eggs, so if you were watching this outside of the United States using Netflix, they actually have the option for you to watch it with Klingon subtitles, so you get everybody's lines translated into Klingon. So it can be a little bit distracting if you watch the entire episode like that, but it is fun to play with. But it's only available on Netflix, not on CBS All Access. There was a whole bunch of mud in the previous trailers from the original series with the Tribbles, but you don't see them anywhere in these first 2 episodes. But they do name drop Denadu 5, which was actually mentioned during the Troubles with Tribbles episode. But just in general, they borrowed a lot of the sounds, the sights of Star Trek. There were a couple lens flares in the transitions, which is another Abrams thing. They also kind of opened in the same way that the original Abrams movies opened with that big disaster with the Romulans, except it's the Klingons this time, sort of setting up this big war they're going to be fighting. And the reason why I referenced the Deep Space Nine Dominion War is because it sounds like this will be a bigger thing, but I did like the way they treated the Klingon storyline. So it gives them an arc that just goes beyond being nameless bad guys. Like, oh, the Klingons are here, they're going to blow us up, we better blow them up first, or try to win them over somehow. So even though they killed the main character in the first episode, like they killed Michelle Yeoh, I wouldn't be surprised if we also get a couple other Klingon main characters that we get to know over the course of the series. So just looking at that episode 3 trailer, you sort of get the story about how she's stripped of her rank, but she gets put back into commission. They need as many trained hands as they can get, and they need people that are experienced with the Klingons, which Michael has. So she gets that get-out-of-jail-free card, but everybody's looking at her with side-eye, just waiting for her to do something bad again and everything to go off the rails. We see her go up against the Klingon that was actually against Tecumva in the first episode. So you have like the whole council coming together at the light of Kahless, but there was the one Klingon who's like, I'm going to come for you later. Like he's going to be the big bad of the series. He might be pissed because he wanted the right to kill Tecumva and she did it before he could get to him, so we'll see what their relationship is like. But it is kind of strange seeing her back on a Klingon ship so soon after their last encounter. But then you just get a montage of some of their weekly adventures. So obviously there's a lot of serialization in this because you have that war going on in the background, but it seems like they're not completely abandoning the idea of starting and finishing an adventure within a single episode. But what'll probably happen is I'll do a wrap-up video at the end of the first half of the season or the end of the season. There's only supposed to be 15 or 17 episodes. I've seen people quote different numbers, but the thing is the biggest complaints that I've seen is that CBS paywall. Like so many people are either ambivalent about it, like okay, I'll watch it because I'm a Trek fan, or they really like it, but they're prevented from doing so because it's behind that paywall. Like you've already signed up for 4 other streaming services and you don't want to sign up for a 5th one. So it just makes it really hard to make videos for it weekly if most people aren't going to be able to watch because they can't sign up for the service. So what I'm really curious to see is what CBS will do if they don't hit the streaming numbers that they want. Like if not enough people sign up, will they air some of these episodes on broadcast as reruns next year? Or will they wait and roll out some free tier so that you can stream it for free with more ads? So I think from a business perspective, they have to work some of that shit out, but we'll see. Like whatever ends up happening, I'll do a video for it at least by the end of the season as sort of a wrap up. But just for reference, I will be watching every week. And for those of you asking about the Orville 2, I also watch that every week too, but obviously I haven't been making videos for it. But congratulations to the latest giveaway winner, Brett Simpson. You win a CBS All Access Pass. Please private message me on the back end of my channel so I can get your contact details. What'll happen is there'll be some new Rick and Morty next. There'll be some new DC TV. They just confirmed that Legion of Superheroes are coming to the DC TV show. So there's a bunch of comic book stuff coming up. There'll be new Game of Thrones. While you wait for everything, you can click here for my Discovery Episode 1 video, and you can click here for brand new Rick and Morty. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.